All right, it's another week and another episode of the Itty Bitty Podcast. This show, my guest is going to be a buddy of mine. His name's Mike Lick, and he's launching a brand of surf clothing, so surf gear like T-shirts and stuff. It's called Swell Surf Company, so we had a good time. We sat down and talked for quite a while. Got a little stony there throughout the podcast, so I apologize if we kind of go off topic or go all over the place, but that's kind of the point of the show. But remember, this is not a podcast about surfing. This is the Itty Bitty Podcast. It's anything but, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Itty Bitty Podcast. It's the Itty Bitty Podcast. It's the Itty Bitty Podcast. The Itty Bitty Podcast.
All right, what's up, Mike?
What's going on, Perry?
You ready to podcast?
Oh, I'm so ready to podcast. I'm actually splitting up a Swisher Sweet right now.
Ooh, that's always a good way to get a podcast going.
It is.
So let's talk, before we forget, since we're about to get faded, let's just get right into talking about
Oh,
your
no,
company.
this is purely medicinal.
Oh, okay.
I do not get faded. No,
Oh, okay.
that's a dirty
Shit.
lie. That's a dirty lie.
My bad. I didn't mean to put you on blast. like that
No,
for
it's
some
all good.
seconds.
I've used at least 7 marijuanas in my life before, so I think I'm getting pretty good at
Getting
it.
used to it.
I think I'm getting used to it, yeah.
So let's talk about Swell.
Swell Surf Company. It is the current labor of my artistic love right now. I learned in my early 20s, when you start a business based upon your lifestyle, it feels like you're not working, and it makes everything pretty much a write-off because you're working in the normal places that you were. I owned a apparel line in my early 20s, learned a lot, lost a lot because of it, and now I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, I like to think. And I've been surfing for about 14 years now. It completely changed my life, made me a better person, and completely fell in love with the lifestyle and the sport and everything that is surfing, and I feel it's my time to start giving back to it.
So we'll talk more about the surfing aspect in a minute, but you said giving back. You had a cool video that you put out recently. I saw it. What was that about? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was just a pre-launch video. You know, this is actually the third year that we have tried to launch, but because of unforeseen factors, and by that I mean screen printers that take on jobs and say they can do it, take your money, and then completely ruin all of your product and make you start again. We live in a very small rural area. It's a beach town, but there are a handful of businesses out here, and I completely believe in everything being local. Everything Swell Surf Company does is made in the USA. Not only do I want it made in the USA, but I want it in my local economy, and so I took a chance on some smaller printers, but they accepted the gig. So it's been a huge labor of love. So there's been several pre-launches that have gone, and just wanted to let people know that this time everything is good. We've taken care of every weird variable that could have possibly happened, and we were launching. So it was just a little thing for the fans of Swell Surf Company that. Hold on a sec. Hey, you got to kill that.
We can edit that out. That's fine.
So yeah, it was just a little teaser for the fans that have been following along with Swell Surf Company. Let them know that we're actually gonna.
But what were you
launching.
doing? You're trying to be like humble brag right now.
Oh yeah, just
You're doing something cool.
I was doing something cool. Now, are you referring to the cleaning up the environment video?
Yeah.
Okay, because they're both cool videos.
Oh, I didn't see the other one. I just saw the cleaning up the beach after
Cleaning up the
4th of
beach.
July.
Well, that's the important one. The other one is very cool because we got into some really neat camera angles. Got the mouth mount for the GoPro. It was very well done. Best little video commercial that we've done. But yeah, so I love fireworks. I love the 4th of July. I love what it represents. And what I don't love is every 5th of July, when you're in a beach town, the beach is completely covered in litter from the fireworks. And so I go down every year and I help clean up. And I went down this year, and I got to say, the people, just the regular people, even before the cleanup crew, because an organization comes out here and it takes part in it. I actually came in after the organization. They let me use some, picker-uppers and bags and things. But the people did a really good job this year of just picking up their own fireworks. I was really, really impressed. Like, I was expecting to come down to the beach and just see Armageddon because, it's America's good. America's really good right now, people are happy, even though there's some, divisiveness in the media and the politics games that people play. People are happy. The economy is thriving, so that translates into more fireworks and more fuck yeah for America and blowing shit up. I mean, that's what we do. But I was really, really impressed with it. So I'm glad out of the 2 videos that you saw the one that had meaning. Right. Definitely more people paid attention to and watched the really cool surf video for launch. But my favorite video that I have done was that because it was real. There's no filters. Right. There's no editing. It was me holding my cell phone on selfie mode and had my bag of for my fireworks and my picker-uppers. And it felt good. It really, really did. And I wasn't out there for that many hours because of how good just the community did. So shout out to everybody this year for picking up your fireworks. It's appreciated.
You see those videos on Instagram, I'm assuming?
Yes, Instagram, Swell Surf Company. Okay. Also Facebook as well. Same thing, Swell
Organic
Surf Company.
Right here. That's
organic plugs. That's it's all about that organic and that hydro.
I'm trying to learn. Is that one of your shirts that you're wearing?
This actually is one of my shirts. This is one of my favorite designs here.
Yep. Should have just read it, but yeah.
Surf to death. So skaters have skate or die, right? Well, that means when you die, you can't skate anymore, and that's lame.
Okay.
We're gonna surf to death. And then even after death, we're going to keep surfing. If you think about it, everything's a wave. Everything. Lights, sound, particles, everything is a wave at one point in time. And everything is riding that wave, whether it's the sound riding that wave. And so surfing is no different at all. And once you connect with surfing, you'll see that. It's not a sport. I do board sports. I skate. As you can see, I snowboard. If there's a board involved in it and it involves gravity pulling you down, I do it. And I love it. It's great stuff. But surfing, this is surfing. You connect with the wave. Okay. And life, energy, God, whatever you want to call this crazy thing we're in, completely humbles you and says you are completely meaningless. You have no power. Your ego means nothing. But at that same time that it completely breaks you down to your core, it then lifts you up and says, I'm going to hold you up because you're the most important thing ever. And that's what surfing is to me and to anyone. I've never met anyone who has put it that way, but once I've explained it, I've never met anyone who didn't completely agree that that's why they surf.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't surf, because...
You don't want to change your life?
No, not that I don't want to change my life. It's just that, I just don't really fuck with the ocean, man. I mean, I do. I like to go to the beach, and I like to go in, up to my knees, but there's too many sharks.
Oh,
too many sharks,
so
man.
It's funny you bring up sharks.
I'm a pussy.
The reason that I surf was to get over my unhealthy fear of sea creatures. So I'm 41, just turned 41 on Friday, July 19th, depending on when this airs. And
Happy early birthday?
No, late. It was just the 19th.
Okay.
You get some good weed, bro. I need to find out what store you go to. There you go, brother. There you go. So in the very early 80s, very, very early 80s, I was 3, and my parents let me watch Jaws. Well, Jaws, great movie. Shout out to everyone that worked on it. Great film. But that movie committed a genocide on the predatory animal that keeps the ecosystem of the ocean going. It also put unhealthy fears in people to the point of, I went to Hawaii when I was 5. And I wanted to go play in the water. It was clear, completely clear. You could see there's nothing in it. I mean, it was the most amazing thing. Couldn't even see fish in it because it was very shallow. And I wouldn't go in because Jaws kept replaying in my brain. And I didn't just watch it once. Right. I watched this several times. My dad owned it on VHS. And so they indoctrinated this into me. And so I wouldn't go in, and my parents tried to bribe me. And they said, we'll buy you anything you want. And that day when I was leaving the hotel gift shop had a little diver, a plastic diver toy, maybe 12 inches long. At that age, it looked 50 feet long, but in retrospect, it's probably a foot long. And you put baking soda in his scuba tank, and he will bubble and swim and go through any water. Right. I wanted that toy more than anything in life. That toy was the first time I ever remember going, there's something outside of me, and I need to bring it to me. It was like a life-changing moment. I wouldn't even go in for that toy in clear Hawaii because of the sharks. And so I grew up in NorCal, and I grew up skimboarding, grew up boogie boarding, and there wasn't much fear there, because I was a little kid on the shore doing these little shore breaks, and skimboarding's on the hydrodynamics of the 1-inch water of the ebb and flow. Right. So nothing is going to eat me there. And I started surfing maybe 14 years ago because I realized that I needed to start surfing, and what was holding me back was my fear of sea creatures. Right. I think there's monsters in lakes if a pool's deep enough. Like
all sea creatures or just sharks? So you said sea creatures.
Well, it started with that, and then it turned into, seeing nature shows, and there's some big scary things, and they all want to eat me. I taste good, according to the Discovery Channel.
You ever watch Blue Planet when they go to below, and there's like a lake in the bottom of the ocean and shit, and all those glow in the dark creatures?
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Those are in big pools. I am traumatized.
That's as close as I get.
I got PTSD. Can we sue the makers of Jaws over this? PTSD.
I don't know, maybe
it's that generation where you can sue over dumb shit that happened in the past. Maybe
Probably
we could get paid.
I'm sure you could.
We could fund this podcast and Swell Surf Company off of this. Oh, we should
do it.
This is going to be.
We already have a presidential candidate, like I told you.
Tony Hawk.
Yeah, this will already be the cat will already be out of the bag. That's
I'm all for
episode
this.
1. So.
I'm all for this. I'll vote for Tony Hawk.
Did you hear the slogan though?
What's
I
the
didn't
slogan?
come up with it. Carson came up with it. Make America skate again.
Oh man. Oh. Oh,
I was like, yeah, that's a good
TM.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
And just real quick on that.
Yeah.
America's always been great.
Yeah.
Let's keep making it greater.
Yeah. We got to get back to what we were talking about. I'm sorry, I got a sidetrack. We were talking about the ocean, your fear of underwater creatures. Yeah,
so in my early 20s, I learned that if you start conquering your unhealthy fears, it'll change your life. Used to have a fear of needles, started getting tattoos and body piercings, and became a body piercer, which turned me into being an EMT, and just several things like that of my fears. I went and conquered, and it changed the world, allowed me to travel, allowed me to grow, make money, and it got to the point where my last fear was, this surfing thing, and because of the sea creatures, and I couldn't allow this to happen. I couldn't allow some outside unforeseen force that is uncontrollable to control what I want to do.
You ever hear I think it's Jimmy Iovine, the dude who's like the producers with Dr. Dre. I don't know if he's a producer, but so I think it's on one of the Dr. Dre songs, but he says fear is a powerful thing. It can be, I'm going to fuck it up, but it can either be used to stand behind you and push you, or stand in front of you and stand in your way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, that's it. That's it. That is.
I've had a couple failed businesses, so I know.
Now, so this is the thing. A failed business is only a failed business if you didn't learn anything from it.
That's the thing I learned.
So these weren't failed businesses. These were the businesses that you needed to run to learn this stuff.
I didn't want to do it.
I went to public school. I didn't have any mentors. Right. I wasn't in the Big Brother program. That latchkey kid growing up in the 80s. Dad wasn't there. That sob story. And so I kind of was left to my own, my own accord. That's a good sound.
Oh, that's fine.
That's what we get for being healthy.
Yeah, right.
You try to drink this water and it just messes up the podcast.
I know. What the fuck? Whatever. It's all right.
Yeah. So we keep getting on these tangents, but we got this really good Swisher Sweet twisted up here. So I think this will work for us. So yeah, sea creatures, they're scary. I'm trying to get over my fear of them. Every time I go in the ocean, I get a little less fearful. Mm-hmm. I do surf at a spot that is pretty much as shark-free as you can get. Where I live here in Westport, Washington, we surf at a place called the Jetty because it's the jetty built by the Army Corps of Engineers. And it created an amazing wave pattern. It just made this great surf spot. We actually have a sanctioned surf event here every year. It's the most reliable spot, in Westport. And it's a fishing town. And so there's a fishing channel. And so they're dropping chum and all sorts of things off the boat. So the sharks follow the boat.
Right.
And this is a beach break that will get double overheaders on the right day, not because God and nature made it that way, but because the Army Corps engineers need to build a jetty for the shipping channel. And so it's there's no grass, there's no rocks, there's no little life all the way up the chain to the sharks. And it's one of the reasons I surf there. I love surfing at Indian Beach in Cannon Beach, Oregon. But a few years ago, a trauma nurse got bit by a shark there. A trauma nurse. You want to get bit by a shark to find out a trauma nurse is like there surfing with you. But when the trauma nurse is the first one that gets bit, there's no hope.
You're screwed.
Yeah, just absolutely.
So I got the reason I asked you about sea creatures is because when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. And the last day we were there, we took a catamaran ride, and it takes you out to this island, and you can jump in. It's super clear. They give you the snorkel and shit. I can't see anything without my glasses. I turn into what's her name, Velma from Scooby Doo. I'm like Jinkies. I can't see shit without my glasses.
Janky, what kind of sea monster is that?
So we met these ladies on the boat, and they were like, I shit you not. We have a picture. We took a selfie. We didn't even see until after. In the selfie, we're looking. And it's me and my wife, and then it's these ladies that we were partying with. It was one of their birthdays. It was these middle-aged black ladies. And they were like the real housewives of Atlanta. They're all taking individual selfies in different poses and shit behind us in our selfie as I'm talking shit. But they were awesome. So we were partying with them, and we go to get off the boat, and sorry, ash in the blunt. Go to get off the boat, and one of them goes in first, and I can't see shit without my glasses, so I put my snorkel on. And I get in, and she jumps in and immediately starts screaming. She's like, there's a snake. There's a snake. So I look under. I can't see any snake. Nobody else sees a snake.
Oh, I thought you were going to say then you pulled your pants up.
No. No, but I got out of the water immediately. Nobody believed her. I believed her immediately. I was like, no, I know you wouldn't steer me wrong. So I got out of the water, and we ended up taking like a boat. He took us on the boat across the thing to get in there. Nobody believed her. I believed her. At the end, another couple had taken a picture of it, so that water snake actually existed. And of course,
is this like a water moccasin like we have here?
It was in Costa Rica. It was like it just looked like a snake, like a python almost.
Oh, that's creepy.
And that was the first thing she saw. But her dramatic retelling of it was.
So you're underwater. Everything's a blur.
I can't see shit.
All of a sudden, this lady is here just yelling snake.
And I believe her.
Yeah.
Because
why would you make up snake?
She lie?
Yeah, why would you make up snake? That's not.
And I'm like, I know water snakes are a thing.
Yeah, like, did you go on vacation to ruin other people's vacation?
I was like, I can't see anything anyway. Like, I'm not going to be missing anything. I'll swim in the water, for a minute, and then, it was fine.
So did you see surfers in Costa Rica? Were you on?
I didn't know. We took the jet skis out like the first day that we got there.
You gotta.
Were
they the sit down type or the stand up?
Well, we did we read all the reviews, and it's like, don't go to one of the dudes on the beach. Not one of the dudes, just don't buy stuff from dudes on the beach.
Yeah.
And he gave us a cheaper price, and it was the same jet ski, like just a different jet ski. But he goes, don't go this way, points right, this way, points left, and then you're good. I'm like, okay, that's the only instructions you have? Like, how much gas do I have? Oh, just be back here in like an hour. Okay. So we just take off, we get out into the middle of the ocean.
Do these things have gas gauges on them?
They do, but I don't know how much I would trust it. It's in Costa Rica, and we got it from a dude on the beach. So
and you did go against the Yelp reviews.
Yeah, they said not to, but in our defense, he was really nice and cheaper. So we keep going. We go out to the middle of the ocean, and we're both getting scared. He's like, yeah, there's a rock that looks like a monkey skull. You can go out to that and see it. And I'm like, I don't see this rock. I'm like, I'm not going to continue I can't see the resort anymore. And then we see these two ladies on a jet ski, and they tell us.
Wait, like you lost the horizon?
Not really lost the horizon. It was kind of a bay. So as long as but we didn't want to go too far if this thing died.
But you would have found land. You weren't going to be talking
to. We would have been in like Nicaragua, which is like not good.
Well, hey, if you need a bunch of cocaine,
Yeah, we were like that close to he was like, oh, right there's Nicaragua. Don't go like onto that beach, but you could go in this whole bay. So we were like right there. And so we come across these two ladies on a jet ski, and they're like, yeah, we were out here riding, and her jet ski died. And so she had to jump on with her girlfriend onto the jet ski.
Did they rent from the same gentleman?
No, they got it from the hotel.
Oh, so they
got it from the hotel. So I'll actually give the guy a plug because I ended up buying him a bottle of Johnny Walker. I think we're on the Pacific side. If you're on the Pacific side, his name's Minor. Tours your way. But he was fucking awesome. So we get the jet skis back. We shepherd these guys back to the resort because they didn't know how to get back. So we get them back there, drop the jet ski off. The guy's like, here's my card, your way tours, whatever, So we're like, can we set something up with you right now for, tomorrow? Take us on some tours. Yeah, we'll go find some monkeys, some sloths, get some food. So he picks us up in the morning.
Wait, did you get to see a sloth?
Mm-hmm. What? In a really cool way, though. So he took us to the raid forest, but first he picks us up outside the resort. We get in, he's kind of cool. I think I told you the joke I made. He was like, he was trying to fuck with me. I asked him about jaguars. And this was like right early on in the beginning. I was like, oh, they're going to be jaguars? He's like, yeah, but they only eat Americans. And I was like, well, you're Central American, man. You're just as fucked as I am, buddy.
How do you react to that?
He thought it was funny. He started laughing. So then from then on, we kind of had rapport. And so he stopped and got us empanadas right off the bat from his buddy on the side of the road. So we got some authentic food. And then as we're driving, he tells us that we're coming up to the U.S. Embassy. And so we're looking. I'm like, oh, cool. Let's check it out. And as we are pulling up, he's like, okay. And he points to the McDonald's. He goes, there's the U.S. Embassy. I'm like, oh, you got jokes, man. So he was cool. He took us into the woods. On the last day, I bought him a bottle of Johnny Walker because he went and got me weed. Like, he hooked it up, gave me a Cuban cigar.
Okay. Hold on. Tell me about this marijuana.
The marijuana. So that was a little not sketch, but like, I asked him to get me some bud. I was like, hey, but once I was comfortable, we started talking about weed, and I was like, so do you think you could get me some? Like, if you needed to. I don't want to get him in trouble, though. But whatever. He was cool.
His name was Steve Smith, and he was between 3'2" and 9'7".
Yeah, if anything, he should get like rewarded for this. So he hooks it up with his homie. I'm not gonna say where we went, but hooks it up, and then he takes us to this overlook, like, so we can roll a joint and like hang out. And he just sat there, like, waited for me and my wife.
How's the weed though?
It was. It was Costa Rica, and it was.
So you've been to Mexico and bought that bag of Mexican weed?
Never been to Mexico.
Okay, so you don't know the comparison of, because you'll go to Mexico and buy stuff in a paper bag, and you'll be like, I don't know what this is. I don't even know if it's weed, and you'll smoke it and be like, what are you doing? So I'm just curious.
I think that's PCP.
Is that what it is? Is that why PCP. I woke up in Debo's chicken coop again?
I think so.
Yeah. Man.
But it was all right I smoked one joint like right there, and then I had enough for one more joint. We smoked it on the beach.
What did this set you back?
It was really cheap. It was like, I just gave him $20. I was like, just give me $20 worth. But at first he said he could give me an eighth of some good shit. And then he was like, I don't have the good shit. I can only give you 20 of the shitty stuff, or you can buy like an ounce. I was like, just give me a gram, bro. Like, I'm only going to be here a couple days. Like,
I don't understand this math.
Yeah. So the last day we were there, he hooked up a catamaran ride. This is back to the tour guide. And we did a bunch of shit. Everything we did through him. We went like on ATVs, did hella shit. And then the last day when we went on the catamaran, he called the hotel room and asked us how the trip had been, and like he looked us up and made sure that we were good, and like he's like, I just want to say bye.
Is that creepy that he found you?
I don't think so. No, because he knew which hotel room we were in, because we had to book everything through him, so he knew which hotel room we were staying in, and he just called he just called the hotel to ask which room we were in.
That's that's good, because my son went to Mexico last year, and he was at the club, and this young guy from the area was there. And he had the actual like Heath Ledger Joker scars, like for real, not tattooed, like on him. And he goes up to my son, and my he's an adult, he's a grown adult, he's 21. And he goes, hey, you want some coke? And he's like, oh no, man, I'm broke. And he goes, oh, okay, man, maybe later then, and just takes off. And my son thought it was weird. Wakes up in the morning, showers, him and his buddies go down into the lobby of the hotel, and the Joker is sitting down in the lobby saying, hey man, you got that money now? He goes, you want that 20, right? He goes, yeah, I want that 20. He was afraid to do the blow, so he let his friend do it, and then his friend said it blew his mind. He said it was such good yay. Like, and my son was like, well, that's great. But yeah, so I'm just glad that he didn't like joke or you.
No, he wasn't like he showed us like the school where his kids went, and like he was just you could tell he was just doing it to make money for his family. So he was a cool guy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, do you think all the beach people are this respectable?
No, we ran into some of the ones that I was like, I don't trust that motherfucker. He was trying to sell me like 20 cigars, and he's like, you want some weed? It was like the last day because we had already gotten weed and we were ready to leave, and the last day we got hit up by these dudes for cigars and weed, and I was like, nah, man.
Could you imagine having some of that dirt weed with you and getting busted on your way back to a place where it's legal and it's good?
Mm-mm.
Like, no.
Like I just was like, I'm just gonna smoke this here. I smoked it like on the resort, like down by the beach. We went down there and smoked.
Was
it
like
an lightning storms?
Ooh, lightning storms.
Yeah, it was dope.
Was it like an inclusive resort?
Yeah, it was all inclusive. It was like couples only. There was one family that brought their daughter, so that was like, he's like, yeah, he was from LA and he didn't realize that it was like a couples resort.
Okay, okay. I don't even have words for that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I mean, it's not like they were like trying to. I mean, they were definitely trying to get people to bang, but like not like they trying to influence. Like they had the dancers and shit. They had these hot girls and like
And you bring your daughter to this.
Yeah,
you messed up.
He didn't know.
You know what's messed up? You have Google.
Right.
Everyone has Google or Siri,
right,
or Bixby, whatever you call your artificial intelligence. And just, you gotta, oh, geez.
But it's not like the hotel isn't really like labeled as a, what's it called, as a couples resort. It's more like, a resort paradise. What? Hold on, let me pause it.
Just letting Jimmy go off or Stevie Ray Vaughan go off.
Boom.
Boom. We're back. We're back here on
we'll
NPR.
Edit that shit, and it'll be like movie magic.
Movie magic. Next on NPR.
But yeah, so back to Costa Rica. So yeah, it wasn't like labeled as a couples resort. It was more like labeled as, island paradise and shit. But it was definitely geared towards couples and shit. It was a lot of honeymooners and.
Okay, how old was this daughter?
She was in her 20s. It's 21 and over. You have to be 21
See,
to be
I'm
there.
thinking you show up with your 13-year-old daughter.
No. They were cool too. They weren't like weirdos. They were Asian.
So
I don't think
basically,
that matters, but.
He wasn't getting no pussy and she wasn't getting no D.
Yeah, there wasn't like, I didn't really see any single people there. I mean, I was there with my wife checking out bums, but she was checking out bums.
Years ago, I took a solo trip to Florida on the Gulf side to stay on the water because I'd never been to the Atlantic like that, and skimboard and see 311. I flew down there by myself, got a killer deal on some website, rented a car. It's just I'm a social
Did you fly
butterfly.
down?
I fly down.
That's the 311 song.
I did fly down.
311
that
pun.
was way
Sorry.
over my head.
Sorry.
See, my head's in the clouds, and that went over my head. That's deep. That is deep. We'll probably listen back and realize it wasn't that deep.
Yeah, I got you all mixed up. It's cool. All right, that's the last one. That's the last one.
You're good. 311 is actually the police code for indecent exposure in the area they're from.
And they got mistaken for like KKK and shit.
Yeah,
because
the 11th letter or something stupid.
So stupid, yeah.
We find patterns and things, and it's about pulling your dick out like a normal human being American. It's not about hate. It's about penises and freedom.
Penises and vaginas and freedom.
P's, V's, and F's. The F's for
V's,
freedom.
And freeze.
P's, V's, and freeze. Oh, we have more slogans. We have more. Tony. So Tony, you're the man. You're the man. That's all I got to say. You're awesome. You should run for president. We will help in your campaign in any way that you need. I just think there's mad possibilities about this because we need a president who did the 900.
Here's the thing. The other thing that we were talking about with Tony Hawk, new pro skater of the year.
Oh,
that's your campaign. That's what you run on.
When
he's got to have some type of policy.
When Pro Skater 1 first came out, my buddy got the demo disc, which just had the warehouse for PlayStation. It should have been PS1, and we played that demo, I mean, for months.
I forgot about demos.
Life-changing.
I loved demo.
I love demos.
It's like 2 minutes of...
It was 2 minutes, and the cool thing was, no one could hog the game.
Yeah.
Next, went to the next buddy, and then you'd try to outdo your buddy, and we didn't care there's more levels, and when the game came out, we kind of just kept playing the warehouse.
Well, a lot of times there was like, they would give you a demo of shit that wasn't even the game. It was just like a demo of shit that you could play, and then it was like an exclusive 2 minutes that you get to play.
Those
it was
were
like
cool.
an extra DLC that you didn't have to pay. You
Before
just gotta get it.
DLCs were, but back when they were, the D stood for disc.
Yeah, that shit's crazy that you have to pay for. We were talking about that before, about having to pay for all those upgrades and shit for video games. You shouldn't have to. You should earn them to earn that shit.
You know, it should be earning. I don't believe in this freemium. I believe if you're not making enough money selling me a disc at $60, then you need to change your business practice. Stop. Or make them cheap.
Right.
You know, give me an extra 3 maps for $1. You know,
Right.
because if you sell 30 million of them, you just made $30 million. How much money do you need?
I think they're starting to learn. There's new games that are coming out that they're like, there's no DLC, no bullshit. The new Star Wars game is like that. So
What's the new Star Wars based off of?
Jedi? You get to be a Jedi and just fuck
Is it?
people
But it's
up.
not like Old Republic time. It's
No, I don't know what it's got that one of the characters, Forrest Whitaker's character, the one from Rogue One. He's in it. So I'm not sure what. I think that's before.
that. Yeah, but
'Cause
that's a cool
They
period.
steal the plans for the Death Star. I think
Yeah, they
that's-
haven't
that was
done
Rogue One.
anything.
So, and the dude is, it's the guy from like Shameless, and he was the Joker on Gotham.
Yeah.
So he's like the main guy, and he's a Jedi, and you get to fuck shit up. Just fucking throwing your lightsaber around and shit, choking people with the
I'm
Force.
a sci-fi geek. I'm a Trekkie. I'm a Star Warsy. I mean, I like them all. There's better. There's worse. But you know, it's like pizza or pussy. It's still pizza or pussy. It's still Star Wars. It's still Star Trek. But you know, one major problem that I have with sci-fi movies: no one surfs in space.
That he might be coming to Marvel, the Silver Surfer, that Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, there's him. But
He surfs. If
he
you
does-
get Keanu Reeves on that shit.
Oh, Keanu Reeves is hot right now in the movie world.
They're trying that. Yeah, that would be dope. Keanu as the Silver Surfer.
Bro.
There you go.
Bro, stop being evil, bro. Let's hit this double overheader, man, and totally nosh this, man. See, surfing could change the world. It changed my world.
Yeah.
But I can't believe that you didn't see any surfers in Costa Rica.
I probably did. I wasn't looking out for it, but
Costa
I'm sure I
Rica
probably
has
did.
amazing surf.
yeah.
Amazing.
Where's the craziest place you surfed?
It's all West Coast. So
West Coast.
California, Oregon, Washington. I've only skimboarded on the Atlantic side. Craziest place, craziest story, I'd say. Indian Beach, place where the trauma nurse got bit. We're out there years ago, and I see something. And I'm like, nah, it's nothing. It's a log. Then I see birds land on it. I'm like, yeah, it's a log. It just, they float in there. And then I see lots of birds. And I'm like, man, that's a big tree. That actually could be a danger to us. And then I see a bunch of sea lions, and I see just basically a bunch of sea life, like almost as bad as when Ace Ventura opens up his apartment door and all the animals come running, but like the exodus of that. And they were all going towards this bird thing, and then things were flying down and pulling off chunks. There was a dead whale.
Ooh.
So I'm like, yeah, honey, I was with my fiance at the time. Look at that. She didn't believe me because of my unhealthy fear of sea creatures.
Right.
So she always, if something touches me underwater, it's literally the mega, the megalodon it just prehistoric unfroze in Westport and just came
That's
out and
how
got
I
me.
am.
Yeah, it's bad. It's getting better, but it's bad. And so I told her, she finally believed me. We told everyone, and we all got out of the water, and it was just the feeding frenzy. I guarantee there's sharks there. And then the next day we wanted to surf again, but we weren't going to go back to where there was a dead whale. Hadn't even been reported yet, hadn't beached yet. It was just still floating out there. So we were like, hey, let's just do seaside, kind of by the river mouth. There was things in that water that I didn't notice them. My girl noticed, didn't want to tell me because she didn't want to freak me out. And then all of a sudden, every human that we were surfing with all pulled a Jesus and just ran on the top of the water. and I'm the last one in there. And I just thought, I'm dumb. Like, I don't know. I'd never surfed there. It was a really hard place to surf. It wasn't like a good tide, but I wanted to surf.
Right.
And I just thought, people got out because it was too rough. I finally start seeing this like dark thing. And I got out of the water. We got out of the water, and lo and behold, it was a shark. It ended up being reported. The police came down to the beach.
You know what type?
The kind that will be in the water.
It'll fuck you up.
I'm imagining it's not a vegan shark who decided that it was adapted enough and grown enough to not have to eat animals anymore.
Right.
I'm pretty sure is the kind that go in your mouth. It's not like the police know anything. The police
Right.
get reports from the Coast Guard. They get all these reports, and then they're the ones that go on the beach and just say, "Hey, we got to close this down." Parks people came, and that was a scary time.
Cape Cod's been bad lately. Cape Cod, Massachusetts, with great whites.
The ocean's getting warmer, so they're coming in closer. Another thing too, back to Jaws, we killed off all of these sharks, which changed the hierarchy of how the oceans worked. And so things got too big in populations, which forced things to move. And so there's many things causing this to happen. Whether you believe in global warming or not, the ocean is getting warmer.
Right.
I don't care where it came from. I do care about finding out how to stop it, but the ocean's getting warmer. The thermometers tell us that, and then the things need to stay in the same environment. And the East Coast is, it's already a warm environment. It's a completely different, the salt in the water, the buoyancy is different. And so you guys have always had on the East Coast over there a really like sea monstery place. Like, I understand why the West Coast has more surfing than the East Coast. And I don't want to start any arguments, but it's true. California is the iconic place where surfing,
right.
Americana surfing was started. This isn't New York, this isn't Florida, and you can surf everywhere, and every wave, like, it's like pussy and pizza. It's all pussy and pizza or dick or whatever it is that you like sticking in your mouth that, makes you feel good.
Right.
And so the West Coast had problems with sea monsters, but they've kind of stayed, the same. The East is where everyone came in. We all used to come in through Ellis Island, the shipping channels, all the wars that have happened there, all the ships that were sunk there, which turned into reefs, which drew things in closer. Right. That's the land movement or the water movement to get across. We weren't coming through the West.
Right.
And so that area has had so much contact by humanity. It's changed. So you guys have always had sea beasts out there. So I get why you don't surf.
Yeah.
It's scary. I don't know.
It just wasn't something that I did growing up, too.
No.
Now I'm 30 years old. I'm not going to learn how to surf. I just don't have the desire, but I can see why you would like to do it and why people do it. I'm interested in learning about it. So
it's a letting go thing.
Right.
Like I said, it's not a sport. Do you do any board sports? Skate, longboard?
I tried to learn how to skate when I was first living in Los Angeles. I had a skateboard. I was actually doing well with it.
How old were you?
21 when I first moved out to California. So I lived
by yourself?
Yeah. I moved to San Fernando Valley
with a job or just with a dream.
Well, I moved in with my dad. I had like $500. Yeah, I had a job at Chili's. Moved in with my dad. We don't have the greatest relationship. We're working on it.
Baby back.
But so I lived with him for a little bit, and then I moved out and moved to the San Fernando Valley. It was closer to work. I was taking a bus like 3 hours. I didn't have a car the first couple of years I lived in LA.
You don't need it though.
You do, and so, like I took a bus 3 hours, 3 hours, 2 and 3 hours. But once I moved into the valley, I was good. I could take the bus everywhere.
Wait, you lived in the valley,
I lived
bro?
in San Fernando Valley. And I was a valley boy for a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
See this, because if you live at the beach down in Cali, the valleys, that. You guys are the kooks that come down and just ruin the beaches.
I know. Well,
it has nothing to do with the hypodermic needles or anything. It's just the people who happen to live 45 minutes away who really want to surf too. Fuck them with the audacity.
I had friends who surfed and shit because they grew up in California. Like, you want to come? I'll go hiking with you. I'll do everything on land, but my irrational fear. I know how to keep myself from getting eaten by a shark is to stay my ass on land.
You seem like a mountain biker.
Well, it's funny that you say this because I told you that. I don't know if I told you that I recently started a bicycle gang.
No, okay, I didn't know that, but dude, I need to know about your bicycle gang.
But no, I don't. I want to get a mountain bike. That would be dope. But no, it was just when we were at that hippie festival. I was riding around on a bike everywhere I would go. I was, tripping on acid, riding around, and
did it reignite that part of your youth?
Dude, it felt like I got a group of people together, and we borrowed the bikes. We would bring them back, but it was our friends' bikes, and they would leave them outside their tent. And so I got a group of people. I was like, all right, we're gonna run up on these motherfuckers, and we're gonna steal these bikes. It was like when we were kids, and we would run up and grab the bikes and just take off and ride
so
through
you
the night.
basically were at a local Burning Man.
Kind of, yeah. It's a smaller one. So I was riding around in the pitch black. And
Can you plug this event, or is it secret?
No, I don't want to be just because you're not supposed to do like
it's secret.
Shit. It's invitation only, and it's like you're not supposed to be doing.
No. Look,
you're not supposed to be doing.
If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't need to.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and if you can find one that they're all over the country. I mean, my cousin goes to one, I believe. One of my cousins goes to one.
His name is Steve Smith as well,
Steve
and
Smith,
he's between 3'2" and 12'9".
Steve Smith, and he goes to this one, and it's in Mass. So they're all over. I know they have hippie festivals everywhere. It's a lot of fun.
Now, are they like? Is this like the Oregon County Fair?
It's in conjunction with that. So there's like all different campgrounds.
Is this anything related to like the rainbow groups or any of those old school families?
It's camping out in that area. I'll say that. I'm not going to say which one it is.
There's
awesome.
A
bunch of them.
See, that's amazing. That's good times.
And you're not supposed to do that stuff, but I'm a degenerate, so.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. A little bit sometimes.
No. Hey, normal people do blow in tiny tents with lesbians. That's a normal thing to do at any event.
Just checking my.
Or hell, you could do heroin with two gay guys in a yurt. Whatever your thing is.
Floats your boat.
I just really wanted to say yurt. I love a yurt.
What is a yurt?
A yurt.
I know what it is, but
it's not a tent like a dome tent.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a building tent. It's not huge,
right?
But you're gonna walk around in it. You're gonna live more in it versus just I'm gonna go sleep in here. Or
it's not like made of wood. It's like cloth.
It's cloth, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
temporary.
Very temporary.
Okay.
It's in same fashion as a teepee. It's just a different design of structure.
Right.
Yurt sounds like, I didn't Google this or anything, but yurt sounds like it could be a Scandinavian thing. And maybe that's just their teepee.
It sounds like the noise you would make after you come. Yurt.
Like me personally, or humans you wish made that sound?
I just feel like it could be a sound that you would make when you would come. Yurt. Yurt.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm about to finish yurt.
We're probably offending someone in another country. But what'd be fucked up is if we found out that that's actually why the creator of the yurt called it a yurt. Because he busted his nut and had that idea simultaneously. Because the universe gives us ideas at the craziest of time. Time doesn't mean anything. It's not linear. So an idea just will fill into your head.
Yeah.
And so maybe he was just eating some good pizza, smoking some good herb, just taxing, making some great sweet love with his wife, and was like, just heavenly. And he levitated, the pussy levitated, and it was just mind blowing for everybody.
And then the yurt was born.
Oh, and he named his first son Yurt. And we shall name you after the sound
Rob Yurt.
I made when I came. So I don't know if this is racist, and it's not intended to be racist. It's just poking at different societies, different ways people grew up because of the conditioning and just the groups they grew up with. But there's this funny joke, and it's a Native American dad, and he's with his youngest of 3 children, and his son says, "Dad, I really want to know how you came up with, the names for me and my brother." And he goes, "Well, your oldest brother, Running Bear, as soon as he was born, I stepped out of the teepee, I stretched my arms out in joy to thank the Great Spirit, and I saw a running bear. He goes, what about middle brother? And he goes, well, flying eagle, same thing. Left tent, saw flying eagle. And he goes, oh, okay, thanks, Dad. And Dad goes, why do you want to know two dogs fucking? I love that joke. So if you find that racist, it's not racist. You're racist for thinking it's racist. It's just funny.
I'll play devil's advocate and just say that it's racist. So that way one of us is condemning it. So we can't be labeled art right.
There we go. There we go. As long as we have people condemning it. No, so I'm Michael, named after Michael the Archangel. And that's just how the Europeans grew up. So
right.
the Michael is the running bear, and Michael is just as funny to someone named Running Bear. Well, I'm not saying Running Bear is funny, but it's the difference in society, and it's
right.
those differences in society that allow us to see how beautiful that God and life is, because we'll flourish everywhere, and everything has to happen, and every kind of people has to happen. So I think comedy does a great job of when you make fun of other people to just show people the differences.
Right.
I think comedy is a good bond, like that, and that's why I like that joke, because it's just
funny.
a good.
It made me laugh.
It is, and I actually have told that to several Native American people, and none of them have punched me in the face yet.
Hey, there you go. That's a plus.
But never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never.
I'm sure there'll be one.
Actually, speaking of Native Americans, so out where we live, out at Tahola, the native tribal land, that actually used to be the best surf spot in Washington.
Yeah.
And they started having events teaching people to surf, and we're not talking just teaching the natives to surf. We're talking about they allowed non-natives to come. They started surf camps, and they eventually started the surf contest. Well, as it got bigger and the people came and treated it like people do, they littered, they destroyed the land. So, it's so crazy that people are destroying the Native American land again. Oops. And so they had to shut it down, which in turn, 17 years ago, turned into the surf events here in Westport. Actually, the same gentleman that started it there started it here. And a couple months ago at work, a gentleman came in. He's one of the elders in the tribe out here, and he was the one that actually told me about this. And family came in. They all verified it, and they showed me all these old pictures. They ended up coming in about a week later and showing me like real pictures and a photo album of what the surf event was like. And all of these people that lived out here that used to come surf. I meet people since I found that story out. I meet people all the time where that story comes up, and they're like, "Yeah, I was always part of that." So it's part of the heritage out here so much that even the Native Americans were surfing out here. And I have never heard of anywhere else. I mean, I haven't heard of any of the tribes out by Nia Bay in that area having a huge surf anything. Like I haven't heard of that anywhere. I think it's a really, really cool thing. They also let me try whale.
Oh yeah.
So a whale in Washington recently was hit by a boat propeller.
I thought for some reason you were gonna say bus. I was like, that would be fucking hard, but
that would
be
hard.
Have to be trying.
The bus cannot go below 55. Dude, we're gonna jump in the water, bro. Oh no, we're gonna hit a whale.
Continue. My bad. I don't know why my fucking pothead brain went to boat, from boat to bus, but got hit by a boat.
And it happened to be witnessed by people that were associated with the tribe. Made a phone call because this tribe is allowed, it's northern Washington, they're allowed to hunt the whale. I mean, that's their cow. They eat whale. And, I got it. I accepted it. It's like that South Park episode of like chicken cow or something where we're mad at another country for eating dog and the other country's mad at us for eating, cows. And, we eat different things, different societies. And
different strokes.
Different strokes for different folks. But I never understood why. I knew it was a big protein source, the oil. It made sense, but I didn't think it was going to taste good. I thought it was going to taste like a giant metal something just because it's so big and it's lived so long. And so they called the tribe. The tribe called the state. The state came and verified, found out that the trauma was actually from a boat propeller. There was nothing nefarious going on, allowed them to take it. One of the elders out here was the one put in charge of cooking, smoking, all of it.
Right.
So he comes in to my work, and we're talking about this story. And I don't know many pale people who have been blessed with whale in 2019. No, 2018 when this happened. But let me tell you, I got a bag of it. It was like it was stable, so it wasn't refrigerated. So it was like a smoked jerky, I guess you could say, but it was thicker, and it's not hard like jerky. It's like if you could leave meat out, like if you could leave the perfect steak out. So it tastes like your surf and turf got together, made a little booty slapping, and then you had a surf and turf food. Now, this whale was so good that I had to share it with everybody. It was one of those things where I would have loved to just shove it all down my throat, but I needed to share it with people. So I shared it with everybody that was there. And we've got a fisherman that works where we work. I mean, this guy hunts, he fishes, and he had never even had whale because pale people do not get to eat whale, especially like inland, anyone inland, the native tribes inland, they never hunted whale in the first place. But, you don't get whale, especially being as Caucasian as I am.
Whites.
The whites. So I shared it with everybody's there.
With all the whites.
With the whites. Like a bunch of napkins blowing in the wind. Life is better with color, I'm just saying. So back to topic now that we're off the whites. It's the most amazing thing on the planet.
Yeah.
And
you just eat it like you don't have to cook it or
it was smoked. It was prepped like a jerky or like a smoked salmon, but it's not oily. It was the most. It was in a Ziploc bag. It was amazing. And right then and there, I realized that we should. In today's day, we don't need to, but back then, I understand why we should have and why we did eat whale. Because if you think about how much methane the cows we use for all the things we use cows for, that methane is destroying the ozone layer. I mean, it's methane. This has nothing to do with global warming. There's no conspiracies. Farts are methane, and there's so many cow farts. It's actually destroying the only thing that protects us against, one of the main things that protects us against radiation from the sun. And so I understand now there's too many people and not enough whales, and we have other sources and we can farm. I mean, hell, we're growing meat. I'm not eating it, but we're very smart in stuff that we're doing right now. So, but I get it. I got it. I 100% understood, and I was no longer offended by it because I understand in countries people eat dogs. I wasn't raised by like that. I'm an American, so I don't eat horses either. But in Europe, they do, and I can't put them down for that because that's their thing. But I don't get it. I will never get eating a dog because they're not natural. There was like 8 breeds of wolf that decided to step down, and then we just messed with them over the years to create these things. So we made them, so we definitely can't eat them.
Well, I'm going to fuck with your mind real quick.
Blow my mind.
All right, the apocalypse happens. Which dog you eating first? You got to pick one.
Oh, yours. That's a simple question. So I've already got the apocalypse filled out, bro. It's my surfboard, my wetsuit, just enough ammunition, and a small enough gun. And I'm going to go around just doing my thing, looking kind of sad and sorry. And I'm going to prey on the people preying on the people that are sad and sorry. And when you come up and try to run up on me, I'm going to take all your stuff. I will never travel with large loads because that makes you a target, just enough to get over on you. And I will never get over on you if you're a good person. But if you prey on the innocent and the weak, guess what? No one cares.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat my dog either. I was just fucking with you.
No. Yeah. But in a situation where it's like alive, like the plane crashes and you have to eat an animal, depending on where I was in my life, what the situation was with my children, I might die with my dogs.
I thought you were going to say you would eat your children before your dogs.
No, I'm not.
I thought you were going to go dark real quick.
I actually would die before eating a human.
Really?
Yeah, and that's because I believe that everything is eternal. There's no beginning, there is no end, and everything is recycled. It's what it's what religion taught me and I ran from. And then I was like, I'm going to run to science. And then science is like, oh, actually, we did kind of prove that. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I guess they did kind of figure it out without barometers and
Have you ever been
devices.
super, super hungry, though? You might change your mind.
I've been very hungry, but this is the thing. It's going to have to be a remote situation.
Yeah, we're not doing it for fun. I mean, we're not.
Well, no, it's not like I'm 10 miles away and broke down in my car and ate my dog.
Man. I guess we're going to have to start eating each other, guys. This is what we do now.
So this is the thing. If I'm in the woods, I can choke something. I'll eat a mouse. I will straight up bite the head off the mouse and pretend I'm Ozzy Osbourne and get over it.
Oh, there's other shit you can catch.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
snakes.
And if it's summer, I can get some berries and shit.
You end up like that dude from Into the Wild, though. You ever see that movie?
Okay.
When he eats the berries and fucking...
That movie, to me, he was developing schizophrenia.
You think so?
how it was portrayed. I don't know how that kid lived.
Right,
It's just
right.
how the director portrayed it, and I don't know where they got that info. What I saw, I was an EMT for 12 years in King County, and I got to see a bunch of crazy things. King County in Washington has some of the most amazing healthcare in the world, especially the U.S. I mean, just leading and everything. So I got to see all sorts of crazy things. Real quick, though, we have to go off on a tangent. How do you hit this?
You just suck on it like a dick. You just put it in your mouth.
Okay, so so hold on. I understand how to get my dick sucked, but I don't understand how to suck a dick.
Oh, shit. It's not something you're supposed to do for friends. I thought that was like a handshake. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, this is nice.
Yeah.
We're not going to plug this brand, but damn, it makes me feel mellow.
I feel like we should. It's mellow pods. That's
all
I
did you
smoke.
not hear me so smoothly?
Yeah, that was
go?
very smooth.
That
yeah.
was, and then you just.
Well, they're
fucked
not.
it up.
Apparently, I'm the only one that's buying them. That's what they told me at the weed store. I'm like, so maybe they need the exposure.
They do.
They need the two people that are listening, which is me and you.
They need the 311. They need the exposure.
Yeah.
No,
but
this
that's
is
all
an
I smoke. I love that
amazing,
shit.
absolutely amazing. And what's the oil in it?
It's just like dab oil, but I can't remember. It's clean. It's not like the
Do they?
butane
So
shit.
I
have the box
Is the
outside.
Mellow the brand of the oil and the pen?
They have different cartridges. That one is the actual Mellow brand cartridge. They have other brands that make them, but I don't like the actual.
This is really look. If you are in Washington State, or I can't vouch if this company's working in other states under legalization, but if you're in Washington, try this Mellow. It's MELO, and there's a dash over the O. It's a really good dab pen. I mean, I dare to even call it a pen. It's more of a small disc. It's really smooth oil.
The only thing I would say to them, to Mellow, if any of them ever hear this,
Free marijuana for Swell Surf Company and all podcasts associated.
that, and make it so you can attach it to your keys. Just have like a little clip here that you
Okay.
can attach it to your keys. That's it. That's my only
During the
complaint.
gold rush days, the people that were going for the gold weren't the ones that got rich. The support services, the people who resold boots, fixed pickaxes, things like that, that's who got rich. So from all problems, well, there's a necessity. From a problem, a solution comes. So right now, this company doesn't make anything. So you create a simple silicon skin, have them produced here in America, because we do amazing plastic work and silicone work here in America. And you create, just like they have for, like the AirPods and things, all the little wireless headphones. They're starting to create these silicone pouches that they perfectly fit in because they're laser formed or, laser designed. And they have a keychain attachment on them. You become the millionaire. And what you do is you find all of the cool people that are doing good oil, making good products in all the states, and you just basically design it based off of their product, and you go flood their market. The charcoal the marijuana is working. The marijuana is working. The charcoal briquette was created by Henry Ford's brother.
Okay.
So charcoal briquettes are wood. I used to think they were charcoal. No, it's wood.
Like the ones you buy and bring.
Yeah, well, charcoal is wood.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
it's charred coal. Yeah, I thought it was coal. Like I'm a coal miner. Send the
Right.
canary down there. But no, it's wood. And so they had all of this burnt wood from operating the factories, and his brother turned that into the charcoal briquette. You got to think Roosevelt worked with Firestone to build the roads, so Ford could have all the tires on the cars, and the tires could drive on the roads. And he opened up the national parks. Then he sold the barbecue items to barbecue when you're on these road trips. Great leader. We need Tony Hawk for president. Make America skate again.
2020.
2020, 420, and some other 20s after that. A little 20.
I can't even take credit for that. That was my co-host from Choice Nugs Only. That was Carson.
Speaking of choice nugs, we're smoking on some good weed today.
Yeah. I've been having a good time smoking some weed.
It has. Purple Wookie is
Purple Wookie.
Purple Wookie.
Purple Wookie. And what was the other one? Kosher Kush?
Kosher
Some shit?
Kush.
Yeah.
And then we made a kosher Wookie.
Kosher Wookie.
Yeah, because Purple
Just
Kush
combining
already
the name.
exists, so we're
Yeah.
going kosher Wookie.
Kosher Wookie.
Is that Wookie kosher?
Oh, yeah. So I was going to ask you this a little while back. We talked about the surf event. You said surf camp. So is that something they do? They do a lot of surf camps and stuff still, or no?
There's actually only one company that's technically licensed to do surf classes down at the jetty.
You have to have a lifeguard and a
No,
certificate and shit too?
no. I mean, to run the company, you're gonna have to have insurance. So I
Right.
mean, that's why no one's licensed. There's tons of people doing surf lessons. Washington's cold. It's hard to get people out here. It's Gray's Harbor and it's gray a lot, and it's coastal
Right.
life. It's sunny. You can't plan to come out here. You have to live out here, and you watch the surf report. It's good, but your surf report is looking out your window. This town is so skinny. It's like 2 miles long, and I think it's only a mile wide, maybe, or 2 miles wide. You either live on the bay or the ocean, but then they go to the same tip. Like, we're kind of like a little Florida, a tiny, like the whole state, just in one little city with 3,300 people. So, hey, there's
What's
a
up?
cat on this podcast.
Yeah, I told you I wasn't gonna come into your space. If you wanted to come over and fuck with me, come over. But don't be hissing at me now that you came to me.
No. Just try being a cat that lives with two pit bulls. This cat came from Auburn, Washington. I got this cat free from some juggalo children. These kids were like 10 and 11 smoking cigarettes.
Children?
Juggalo. Okay,
There's
look.
juggalo.
look,
How were they old
look.
enough to know what
Look,
ICP and
I'm a juggalo.
Oh,
I
hey.
grew
Easy.
up on ICP, and actually after the unveiling.
Oh, there's pictures of me in
Well,
clown makeup. Bro.
Look, after the unveiling, when all the Joker cards were laid out, they said at the very end of the album that this whole thing was about God, and they put this wicked shit in there to spread the word. And when him and Shaggy 2 Dope were in jail, God spoke to both of them. And then after that, I don't listen to a lot of the new ICP because it's more of that murder core, and they've already they've already laid out the Joker cards. But I still respect the shit out of what they did for me
Right.
and for the community. I don't like the fact that people are using their name to start gangs and then commit atrocities.
Right.
We were attracted to ICP because they were collecting all the outcasts, all the people that were unwanted and trying to show away, and they definitely got a place in my heart. And
Right.
there's something powerful about their music, like really powerful about their music. So there's nothing wrong with being a juggalo at all. Hell, I had the Hatchet Man's giant sticker on my back window for like 2 years. Like, shit. Actually, I think I was listening to I was listening to the Bizarre albums just the other day.
Yeah.
Great music. So Craigslist, this kitty's for sale, and these juggalo children, and
They
I
drinking Faygo?
No, but Orange Faygo is good.
Fucking posers. You
I
should
know.
have beat their ass
I
just
know.
for fucking...
Well, how do you get Faygo here? How do you get
don't know. I'm
this?
just
We've got
fucking around.
Safeway Select. That was their generic cola.
Right. I know,
So
I'm just fucking around.
these kids were smoking and I started smoking cigarettes at 8. So I'm not sitting over
Right.
here like these fucking children are smoking. I'm just expressing to you the life of my cat.
Right.
My cat was birthed by some people in Auburn to sell the kittens. Like, the cat got purposely not fixed so it could get knocked up, so they could sell some kittens on Craigslist for $20 a pop. Like, this was this family's goal for fucking success, and this was what mom was teaching the kids, or at least how they were making the kids afford their own cigarettes. Mom was giving them cigarettes because they had to go get more cigarettes to smoke while they were trying to sell me the cat. And this cat, they saw how much it liked me, and they're like, you can just have this cat. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, you can just have this cat.
I feel like I'd be like a little bit caught, like, well, why the fuck don't you want this cat?
Oh, no, it gets, so on the Craigslist ad, there was this cute, they showed all of them, but there was this little black cat with huge white paws on the edge of a bed holding its paws over the side, and this picture was like the cutest picture I've ever seen. It was taken by kids. These kids should have been pushed into
right.
photography. They
So
should
you
have
actually went for the cat.
I went
I'm
for the
stoned.
cat.
You said that shit, my bad.
And so the cat, like, it starts like, cats, all animals,
Right.
their hands or their mouth, and cats have sharp teeth, and their tongues are a bunch of teethy things. And so, it starts, messing with me. It's a tiny cat with tiny little claws and tiny teeth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this cat is so badass. Like, I wanted a dog, but I was an EMT. I was working too much, so I wanted a badass cat. And then when I got dogs, I wanted my pit bulls are cats, and then my cat's a dog. So this cat, first time it goes outside, because I'm a firm believer that go play outside and die having fun. Vets advise against that, and I don't care if live 20 years and don't go outside. That's lame. That's like
Right.
being a human for 108 and not loving. It's just not something cool. First time the cat goes outside, struts over to the fence, hops up on the fence, sees another cat, walks over to say hi. The cat just scratches it, just blow, knocks him off the fence. Cat comes running in. I don't think anything of it. Next day, my buddy's petting my cat, and he's like, I think I popped something on the side of your cat. It was just really weird, and we didn't see anything. Wake up in the morning, go to use the bathroom, and cat sits down on my feet and stretches out, and I can see all of his guts, but there's like a sack over it. And I'm like, oh, the popping, the scratching. And so I went to the vet. That was the first incident, kidney failure because of a food. This cat that was free from some juggalo, 11-year-old juggalos, on Craigslist, has $3,500 of investment in it so far. Look, if you're on my team, we ride or die together.
Right.
I don't care if you're my cat. I don't care if you're my plumber. I don't care. I mean, you should see how I treat my human friends. Like, look, if I'm responsible for you, I'm going to take care of you.
Right.
Like, I can't just, you're not a mouse. And now in this situation, honestly, in this situation, I couldn't save a mouse. I would not pay $1,000 at this day and age. No, even though I have the money, no, but my cat, we're rolling together.
Right.
My dogs, we're rolling together.
Yeah. I don't know. We paid to have surgery for the last dog when we put him down. So it was like the doctor finally called on Sunday. It was like, he's going into cardiac arrest, and we just were like, just let him go, But this dog, I don't know if he would be able to handle being in a vet for like we'd have to stay there 24 hours with him. Like he's like when we leave him, we have to leave him with somebody that we know is going to like hang out with them.
Will he destroy the house? Too much energy?
No, he won't destroy the house, but he's just very like, I don't know. He's just very like, he needs somebody to be there with him usually. Mm-hmm. Like, so when the fireworks go off, we bring him to hang out with our friend's dog. So they have like, they're chilling together and stuff rather than him being by himself. So, cause he always had the other dog. So that's kind of he's by himself now. So I think that might be something.
And how do you do that? Like, how do you offset your dogs? Like, because your dog's gonna die most likely when they're a little bit older. So do you buy another one and hope they die at the same minute, or keep putting it through death?
Our
or do you
dogs
buy
were the same, a little bit like kind of close in range as far as age went. But the dog that we had to put down had cancer, so he was younger.
How long was the dog smoking cigarettes?
He started when he was like a puppy. It started with like we would just blow the hits directly into his. No, I'm just. Well,
yeah, because it's a child. You can't just.
Yeah, he didn't know how to do. He couldn't hold. He couldn't light the lighter with his paws yet. First we had to teach him how to light it, and then he would smoke it, but then he got into heroin, and that's kind of where he went on a downhill thing once he got into the heroin.
And just an FYI, cancer is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it sucked. It was pretty bad.
Cancer is stupid, and we need to do everything we can to learn about it and figure out why our lifestyles are causing this. No one should suffer from it. My mom's actually a breast CA survivor.
But sugar's a big contributor.
Oh, sugar, all the processed foods, our stress. Some I was thinking about the other day. I was thinking about how beautiful God, the universe is, and I realized that there's no wasted energy, and if there's ever any energy that is going to be expelled, some sort of life will form to absorb that energy, and then that will shit, and then something will use that as energy, because life just feeds on itself, and it's beautiful. Well, when life is found not to be able to sustain itself, other forms come in and use its energy up. I mean, the whole universe is bigger energy absorbing smaller energy for the good of the bigger energy, even though it's all just one. And because of that, we're in a very sediment lifestyle right now. We're in a very cell phony, instantaneously have all the information I want, not really process it.
Right.
Everything's ready. It's instant. I mean, it's nice. I love it. I love my microwave. I love things being ready for me on the grill. But we're in this lifestyle where we're not challenging ourselves. We're caught in a massive status quo where we're just trying to keep up with it, and the whole world's trying to keep up with it. And what are we really doing? Where are the great leaders? Where are the great inventors? Elon Musk, say what you will, but who else is pimping like that?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like Don Magic Wand pimping right there. It just minus the human trafficking and slavery. But them bitches. Bitches. They got to stay on the track.
So you keep saying God. Can I ask you what do you mean by that?
The single source.
Like, are you religious? Or are you... You ever seen the movie Life of Pi? I actually have not seen that movie.
Okay, amazing movie. And if you just watch any part of it, it'll change. It's a great movie. But if you watch any part of it, just watch like the first 20 minutes up until he's being interviewed. And the first part of the interview, the interviewer asks him something like, how are you a Hindu, Christian, Judaic? It just lists all these religions. He's got the greatest response. He says, obviously Hindu is the first time I was introduced to God, because look where I live. I live in India. I don't live on the Muslim side. But later on, I moved to the Muslim side, and then I learned about God through the Quran and Allah. And then I met some Christian travelers and learned through God through the Bible and Jesus. And he basically goes, look, these are all people that have been talking to God. There's power in there. There's control, but forget all that. Every time he looked into a religion, he learned a little bit more about the universe, life, God, what it is. And there's no name for it. It is. It is all names. It is all names and no names. It's Alpha and it's Omega.
Right.
It's not a dude in a beard and a chair. Like, you shall be punished for sucking the dick when you had a dick. Motherfucker, if a dick wasn't supposed to go in there, why does it fit?
Right. I guess that's all right.
I'm not gonna choose to suck a dick. Gay is not a choice in most cases.
Right.
Some people are gay for the wrong reasons, but no, that's real.
Unless you're doing it for like concert tickets or something.
Well, dude, okay, $20 is a lot of money.
That's true. Or drugs.
Or drugs,
Like Dope Sick Love. You ever see that documentary?
Dope Sick Love.
There's a lot of good sound bites. It's like super depressing. It was on HBO when they used to do their HBO documentaries, but there's a lot of good sound bites on it. There's one where he's like, he would go and he would have, sorry, we're going on a tangent, but he would go and he would have these guys suck his dick. And one of the guys goes, "You got a beautiful dick. You got any cum in them balls?" And then that was one sound bite that was really funny. The other one was, this chick would have she had a fake badge, and so she would try to bust Johns, like, in prostitution stings to give them money. She would basically say, "Give me money or I'll, arrest you."
Ooh.
And
she wasn't a cop?
She wasn't a cop. She was just a drug addict. And the first guy goes, "How do I know you're not a cop? You're going to bust out a titty or something?" And to this day, it's one of the funniest fucking things. So those two lines of like,
that's good.
I saw that shit years ago.
That reminds.
I knew not to do drugs after watching it. It worked.
That reminds me of the Beastie Boys song on "Check Your Head." In the beginning, the guy goes, "If I knew it was going to be that kind of party, I'd have stuck my dick in the mashed potatoes." That's like, those are classic lines.
Yeah.
How do I know you're not a cop? You gonna pull a titty out?
Yeah.
Titty out, titty out, titty out.
Yeah, dude. And that's an old documentary.
Why has no one sampled that?
I don't know. I did a Google search to see if anybody, because me and my buddy every time I see my buddy, we bring it up constantly. Like, it's just, you got a beautiful dick. You got any cum in them balls? We'll say that shit to each other all the time. It's fucking funny. But it's just like, it's weird. I don't see it anywhere. I would think that would come up. It's a very depressing documentary. Like, it's all about like life on the street and how they get money for drugs. And, those are two of the ways they get money, is pretending to be a prostitute or pretending to be a cop.
Why don't you ever hear the story of someone so determined to start a business and they just were like a couple grand off, so they went and just jerked off and sucked off, like 38 cocks, over the course of 3 weeks? Like, why can't you?
That would be a good movie.
My brother, he used to be addicted to heroin, and he had a $300 habit a day. $300 a day is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot so money. And could you imagine if he used junkie powers but didn't have the dope sickness and just save up the money?
Right.
That would be absolutely amazing. We are the placebo. The only reason placebos work, you know what a placebo is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a sugar pill. And
Right.
the reason it works isn't because sugar is good for us or bad for us. It's because when you believe, that's what makes the things actually work. Now, there are chemical reactions that will work if you don't believe in them, and they'll work even better if you do believe in them. And if you're powerful enough, you don't need that.
Right.
And as a species, as a form of consciousness and a level of consciousness, we're getting there. We're growing there. We're evolving. And, we will be there eventually if we stop following lies and quit listening to the ego and surf.
That's why I do psychedelics. That shit breaks down your ego.
Well, no. So everybody in a controlled environment should try hallucinogenics.
I don't think everybody.
Well,
But
there's
I think it's a good idea if a lot of
certain
people try it.
there's certain people that have mental conditions that
Right.
shouldn't have anything. So yeah, don't do acid if you're schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Don't do acid. Don't do any hallucinogenic if
Don't do it too much.
Well, no, that's the
Do it,
thing.
like,
It's
once a year.
You can't do it after something traumatic.
Right.
And if you do it after something traumatic, you have to have a shaman, a guide, someone who's who's done this.
Take a little bit of Molly.
Well, in Europe, they're completely using Molly for couples therapy. Have for
No,
years.
I meant like take the Molly and the acid, and then it just
So,
makes you feel better.
I haven't done ecstasy since it was called ecstasy. So I haven't
Molly's,
technically.
Molly's different.
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I haven't done Molly,
Right.
but when you did ecstasy and acid, it was called candy flipping,
Well,
and I never have candy flipped. I one at a time.
I've done mushrooms and Molly, which is called hippie flipping. I don't know if it's probably the same, similar, but I've only just tried acid with Molly, and it was because I didn't think the acid was gonna work. So I did just like a little fun dip of Molly, and that shit just gave me like crazy energy, and I just had a blast. That's when I was running around on that bicycle, like just like a madman. I had my shirt off and everything. Like I was wearing my wife's shirt at one point, and she doesn't do any of that stuff, so she's just like allowing me to be an idiot.
You're at a festival. Children don't do drugs anymore. Or
Alleged.
less.
I mean, I may or may not have been on drugs. I don't know.
There may have been a man in
Yeah.
a chicken suit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But look,
Not
you
gonna
were
say
at
so.
an event where everybody's same energy was guiding towards
Right.
that same direction. You were not doing drugs at a party. You weren't dropping acid at a kegger.
Right.
You weren't taking mushrooms in the backseat of your car.
Right.
That's what hallucinogenics are, and you do them a couple of times in controlled environments with people who can guide you. You have to have a guide.
I did eat one mushroom cap before this interview.
That's
full
good.
disclosure.
That's good.
Microdose.
Is that why you're melting?
Am I melting? I didn't think I
Am
was
I?
melting.
Am I? I didn't think that was noticeable.
No, I don't even think I'm feeling it. I think it just allowed me to when I take just one little tiny. Oh shit! I was just fucking with that. When I take just one little tiny cap, all it does is it just makes you energetic. Really, it doesn't really do shit to you.
No, mushrooms are not like LSD. You barely ever hear this story. I took too many mushrooms and I permanently think I'm an orange, but you totally hear that for LSD,
Yeah, I could see like going crazy on LSD because the first time I did it, I like started to lose it a little bit towards the end. But yeah, luckily I had friends to help me and shit. But yeah, I could see why I could go that way. If you're not mentally
easily,
ready
and
to go.
you're not going to have that on ecstasy, Molly.
You want to be on the podcast, pup?
You want to be on the podcast too? See, we've got a kitty on this podcast, and the pit bulls are just like, hey, we want our 15 minutes of
I
fame.
know they want to be on the podcast too.
They
Huh.
do.
They're good dogs, though, huh?
They are very good dogs. Pit bulls are like, what's a good way to describe this? Not everyone should own a pit bull in the same way that not everyone should own a 357.
Right.
Let's get a little deep here. Our enemies, foreign and abroad, fear us because of our military might and our weaponry. The Japanese and the Germans refused to attack us, mainland America, because of our massive gun ownership with zero registry. They didn't know where they were. When the Nazis went into Poland, they went to the government, found the paperwork, found out every registered gun because it was law, went and murdered the men of the family and took the women and children. So why did we get talking about guns here for a moment? This weed really just kicked in, or your mushrooms just kicked in me.
We were talking about the dogs and the pit bulls. You said, not everybody
pit bulls and
should own.
357.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
everybody should own guns. Like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm a firm believer that you should have guns.
Right.
I don't carry my gun.
Right.
I have guns in my house to protect myself. If you break into my house, I'm going to grab my dogs and my gun and I'm going to leave. And if you corner me when I'm leaving, I'm not going out like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
You're not striking me down to make me more powerful to ultimately make Luke freak the fork out and just ruin everything. So I love you. We're all God. We're all the universe. We're all of the same light, but there's darkness and you're
Right.
casting it. And so I'm going to take you out. But I'm a firm believer in gun rights. I'm a firm believer I haven't been in a fist fight since elementary school. I have never had to brandish my firearm ever. But it's there in case I ever need to protect myself.
Right.
And so I don't own a 357 because it's too much gun for me. I've fired them. I understand how they work. I can clean them. That's not the hard part, but it's too much gun for me.
Right.
I don't own a 357. I have a 9, a 380, and a 10 gauge. All legal, all registered, because we're grown adults here.
Right.
I believe that people can't handle pit bulls. Some people can't handle rots. There's different dogs, different strokes for different folks. And so pit bulls get this horrible, horrible rap because the people want that Desert Eagle 45. They want that 357 like Dirty Harry had. And then they do stupid things with them. And it's horrible. They were called nanny dogs. They used to watch your kids while you're farming or pull your plow if you needed them to help pull the plow. They're not human aggressive or animal aggressive because they had to take care of living things. The reason they protect young things is because they were bred to do that for their children. And they have a lot of energy. And the only way you can truly get a pit to fight is only give it love when it mauls something. So all it's trying to do is get love. Look what humans do for love, to ourselves, to the planet, to just the universe, to everything. We're all on this crazy trip together. Dogs they're not living in our consciousness. They're not going to just wake up one day and develop flight.
Right.
But there's this amazing thing. I joke that in English, there's a reason God and dog are the same letters.
Right.
And it's just because in the way surfing has made me better, my dogs made me a better human.
Right.
Way better human. You can't describe it. I can't describe it yet like I can describe what surfing does for me. But I know anyone who bonds with a dog knows exactly what I'm talking about, and it doesn't need description. But I'd love to get a description because I think the description I have of surfing is an amazing thing. I've blown people's minds to that. Like old surfers, and people have never surfed. Like, I need to try this.
Right.
I need to dissolve the ego. No one ever told me it dissolves the ego, and that's why you do it. Because, I remember catching the first wave. It was amazing. Catching the second wave was amazing. But I remember the first time I rode one all the way into the shore, jumped off, and it was knee deep. I mean, just rode it the entire way. I grew up like a rock star. Basically parented myself. My mom had to work because my dad wasn't there. So it wasn't by choice. It just, I was a latchkey kid. And I grew up and I did silly things and I didn't learn, I didn't listen. But most importantly, I didn't have anyone above me to mentor me or teach me the things that the DNA was given to me, what was in my DNA. And so it took me a long time to figure that thing out. And I'm still, trying to figure out what that trip is. But all of the silly things that happened in my life, they all went away.
When you were surfing?
When I rode, the first time I rode one in all the way, they went all the, I mean, we're not talking I forgot about them. We're talking that they had to happen.
Right.
They had to happen so I could be there to feel that, to let go of it, to realize that it never happened because the moment is over and that's all we have is a stack of moments.
Right.
And it helped me let go. And so ever since that ride, I was addicted, just catching the wave and going on it. But when I fully got into a wave, dropped in, rode it in, and kept riding and it was turning, and it was amazing. And that feeling is exactly the same every single time. It's actual, true, pure bliss. It can't get any better or any worse. It's everything.
So how have you translated that to Swell Surf Company?
That energy comes out in my art.
Or do you do all the designs?
I do all my designs. I do license parts of my designs to add them to other designs that I've done. I believe that synergy is the greatest energy. Science showed us that you could take two pieces of energy, whatever they are, it's arbitrary, and they each have a value or a frequency. And if you took those two values or frequencies and put them together, you would have, obviously, if this is worth 8 and this is worth 8 of whatever the heck it is we're measuring, because we're scientists here, we've got 16 of these measurement units. But then they discovered you could take this thing that had this value of 8 and this other thing of value that has 8 and has a value of 300. And it's synergy because it's like a chemical reaction.
Right.
Well, that's what a chemical reaction is, just a really, really good one. So I don't want to create all the art for this, you know, and I'm not going to just buy art, license art, and put it on a T-shirt or a sweatshirt or whatever it is we're doing in the media. But your energy and my energy can create an energy even bigger than the
Right.
potential of either of our outputs ever could have been. So I'm very collaborative in the things that I do. But it just depends on the series. You know, there's series that are 100% me. There's series where, ooh, I really like the face on that. I'm going to license the face on that and then
Right.
take that face and put it into something major. Because I could sit there and clone that face, but right now I got this energy. I feel it. I can pay you a licensing fee because you helped me. You synergized me to create a bigger idea inside of me. Hell, you should make some money.
Right.
Look, I'm a capitalist pig. I love money. Money is power, and I am good. And I can do good, even better with money.
Right.
That's why I was an EMT. I went for the low pay, all ideal job and blew out my back. I mean, I saved tons of people, delivered tons of babies, learned so much. I mean, amazing. But if I would have had money and my ideals, this world would be completely different in a way that, in a grander scheme, money creates synergy. Power creates synergy, whatever the power is and whatever you're doing. And it's not like because it's cash. One of the first forms of currency were teeth, because we all had teeth.
Right.
And if you got teeth out, it either means you beat the shit out of someone or you took it out of yourself. And if you're going to take it out of yourself, that's like the gold standard.
Right.
That's a value. So whatever it is that creates power in your society or your time, having that and wielding that properly isn't evil unless what you do with it is evil.
Right.
You can't do shit with ideals except look like a raving hippie.
Yeah.
I love hippies. Nothing wrong with hippies.
I say it all the time. I'm a part-time hippie.
I'm a deadhead. I just went and saw Dead and Company. I see Dead.
I'm a
and
part-time hippie. I'll dabble in that, but I gotta be. You know, I like to go between the worlds.
Hey,
when I was in high school, I hung out with everybody, so I kind of like to think
Yeah.
that's how I like to live my life. I just kind of hang out with everybody. Whenever you know,
You got to.
I have different interests and shit. But I think that's kind of a good place to start wrapping it up. Do you want to talk about anything else as far as Swell Surf Company goes? Do you have anything coming out?
Swell Surf Company, 100% made in the U.S. I got into this thinking that I wasn't going to have any profit margin and that it was going to be very hard. And I learned that it is very hard and I don't have really any profit margin. This is something I'm doing because I believe in it, something I'm doing because I want to give back like we covered earlier. I feel that my energy has been blessed by what surfing has done, and I want to share that back with the surfing community and with the community that hasn't surfed yet. And so I'm local, and we've got a saying here at Swell Surf Company, and it's surfing is global, but Swell Surf Company is local. And when we branch out into the European markets and down into South America, when we get into the other markets, we will actually have our products manufactured there, because wherever your product is being sold, that money needs to stay in that area.
That's cool.
I went to public school. I missed the whole economy thing. And then I went out in the real world and I saw the economy, and it's not complicated. You don't have to Google it. If you put money around you locally into good businesses, they will pay living wages, in turn hire you, and the money stays inside the cycle. I love buying off the internet, but I like buying off the internet from local people. You go on those websites, OfferUp, Craigslist, find
Etsy.
someone local. I've never bought anything on Etsy.
No?
There's so much Chinese knockoff on Etsy.
I bought something from Russia, it took forever to get there, but it was worth it. It was a dope shirt.
In Russia, you're just lucky to get your mail. Do not complain. You are on the list.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that shit. Fuck, I'm probably on some registry now.
They're listening.
I'm kind of disappointed, though, as we're wrapping up, that we didn't get either the crazy neighbor person yelling woo or whatever.
So the town I live in, is a small beach town, and it used to be, the whole area was funded by lumber. In the 90s, the lumber industry changed courses. And so the money dried up out here overnight, and a lot of people stayed. So there's a couple generations of disenfranchised out here that don't realize they can get on a bus and go make a good living. Needless to say, they're drowning their sorrows and escaping their reality in drugs. So there's a lot of meth addicts. There are everywhere. But out here, we have some very unique ones, and we have one that rides around on a bike going, whoop, whoop. And it's
we were
fun.
going to get to record it.
I was hoping we were going to get to record it, but that didn't happen. Oh, wanted to touch on one quick thing.
Yeah.
We were talking about God in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's no guy with a beard,
Okay.
unless you want there to be a guy with a beard. I think that's very short-sighted. Consciousness is all connected. It's all connected. It's all of the same thing. So don't worship the assistant manager. Don't get caught up in saints. Don't get caught up in deities. Don't get caught up in the million Hindu gods. Use that as a springboard to talk to that frequency that's always there. No religion is right, because it's all man's interpretation, and there's a limitation on religion. And that limitation is if you have a new understanding and try to update it, it's blasphemous. Do you think it's blasphemous that we have Android 9.0? Do you really want to be on Android 1.0? And I'm not trying to,
Right.
simplify the universe and
Right.
God and religion and compare it to an operating system, but it's a
Sometimes you
fucking
gotta,
operating. It's a
yeah.
fucking operating system.
I feel like Dr. Evil right now. Sorry.
Meow. My cat has hair though. You guys can't see this, but he's completely gone Dr. Evil, sitting at the table, petting his evil kitty cat. Meow. So yeah.
Well, I think that's very insightful. I mean, I'm not super religious, but I went to a friend's baptism recently because it was important to them, and they asked me to go, and so I showed up and was respectful. And I'm not gonna not go to something like that. But
Look, it's a ritual. All it is a ritual. The chakras. You're familiar with chakras, right?
yeah, somewhat, a little
Okay.
bit. I mean,
It's-
like I said, I
they're-
dabble in hippie stuff.
They're a ritual. And so, yeah, if you stand up straight, your antenna works better, and you're healthier, and everything is more consistent. But your chakras don't exist. Your spine doesn't exist. Nothing exists. Nothing touches. It's all, science has shown us that everything is just basically a hologram.
Right.
It's not a useless illusion, a useless hologram.
We're just bags of meat.
Well, we're not even bags of meat, because there's nothing actually touching at all. So we are representations of bags of meat.
Sorry, your dog's super cute.
My dog is super cute, and she's like, "Don't leave me out of the end of this podcast."
She really did. She just jumped up like she was like,
She
hey,
did.
hey,
Are you guys
assholes,
recording this? Is this on
assholes.
GoPro?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Testing. Does this work over here? Oh, if we could only
that's
decode
funny.
dogs. Yeah. So don't be offended, whoever's listening to this, if I said the word God. There is no your God. There is no my God. There is only one love.
Well, no, that's why I was asking, just because I thought it was a good little.
I grew
segue for a
up
conversation and stuff,
Catholic.
so-
That's where I learned to talk
Gotcha.
to God first, and then
Okay.
got really offended by the things that I read and didn't understand. Then got into Buddhism for years, and then
Okay.
I got really deep into that
Right.
and found just as much idiocracy. And then in my later years in life, I learned things that those were the springboard to get me there.
Sweet.
You know?
All right, well, let's end on where can people buy your stuff, or when is it coming out? What's the website?
So,
social media?
swellsurfcompany.com. By the time this airs, we will be live and ready to go. Check us out on Instagram, check us out on Facebook, but most importantly, check us out at your local beach. We're starting to put up surf reports for all the great surf spots. So if you want to go to the website and send an email with wherever your favorite surf spot is, we will code the surf report in there. So you can go to one website, find the dopest gear, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Swell Surf Company is that epic surfwear for your epic style. And hopefully you like what we're doing, and looking forward to this venture, looking forward to come back to this podcast in a year. And the company has just grown exponentially. The people are in love with it, created a great synergy. And I also want to see this podcast in a year. I mean, we're up there. I mean, Joe Rogan style, you know what I mean? Because
We're just not we're not professional at all.
no,
We're just,
but see, that's the thing about it. That's why this is so important. Like, Joe Rogan's the man, and I don't want to be kicked by him. I've seen his kicks, but like, you know what? That's what he does. He's a professional.
Right.
You know, the Man Show, like all the stuff that he does, the UFC. That's what he does.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I purchased these, and you thought I made them. So that's
seriously,
that's the quality.
That's the quality of it. But no, it's
I have
it's
decent mics.
It's
though.
digital, it's portable, but most importantly, it's real,
Right.
and it's raw.
Right.
The pit bull loves it.
Yeah.
The cat loves it.
I know.
So if
I think-
pit bulls and cats love it, that means
I think that's the way to get more followers too. Just
that is.
put pictures of pit bulls and shit. I know. I see you. I see you. All right. Well, I think.
Well, thank
I think
you
we're
for-
gonna wrap up. It was fun, man.
It was
Thanks for
awesome,
smoking
man.
with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me on
We're
the
definitely
show.
gonna do it again.
Wish you the best of luck with this venture, and I'm going to be listening out for choice nugs as well.
Yeah.
I got to say, shout out to your artists.
I know. I have to put. I'm gonna put their info up on the page. I can't remember. It's through that company Fiverr, and so I don't know if it's their actual name or their
Artists,
username.
developers,
Yeah.
programmers. I mean, anyone who needs any sort of artistic design, Fiverr is an
Fiverr's the shit,
amazing
yeah.
thing.
They're not a paid sponsor, but
They're
that's
not a
right.
paid sponsor at all. None of the people that we've been talking about are a paid sponsor. I didn't pay them shit. My company costs a lot of money. I need to get out of everything
It's
I
just
spent.
you can find a lot of good shit for cheap, good
yeah.
artists and shit.
Yeah, and so Fiverr's amazing. Now I'm a local guy, so when you go to Fiverr, you're going to find a lot of people in other countries that will bid on your work as well. And the whole idea is you can get almost anything done design wise, starting as low as $5. But if you set your parameters on Fiverr, you can find local people, like very local people, and it's about keeping your money local. And if you want to make your economy local, don't jump into somebody else's economy. Make your economy good, and then everyone kicks butt, and then we can travel everywhere, and everyone's happy, and no one goes without.
Yeah, and clean up your beaches, you savage
Clean up your
assholes.
beaches, man. You can't have no dirty beaches, man.
All right, peace out.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of the show. Once again, check us out on ittybittypodcast.com. That's the best place to check out all the shows. We're also available on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts. So check us out, download, review, and subscribe. And then if you go pop on social media, we're all over social media at Itty Bitty Podcast on Twitter and Itty Bitty Podcast on Instagram. So check that out. Check out the Facebook page, and we'll see you next week. Peace.